All right, we're going to chew on this a little more. Joining me now is Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor and Fox News contributor, and Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst and author of the upcoming book, Trial of the Century, the Scopes Monkey Trial, available May 30th. Gentlemen, thank you for helping out.
Great to be with you.
I don't want to go overboard on this, but I am extremely concerned, as you can gather from what I've said similar things last night. First of all, Charlie Hurt, this whistleblower hearing that Jim Jordan sponsored today, with the kind of testimony we got from these whistleblowers, I mean, I think of it as a really bad leading indicator that the FBI is still going in the wrong direction and is, at least the Washington office. What do you think about this? What's the meaning of this hearing?
It's certainly a cry for help, and especially up against right after the Durham report comes out and all of this is sort of laid bare. And I'm with you, Larry. I hate talking about this stuff. I hate the idea that we have to recognize this because it goes against everything that we would like to believe. But at some point, you can't any longer ignore what is so obvious, which is there is rampant corruption inside the FBI, inside the Department of Justice. And, and I think it's even more complex than you're rightly pointing out. The problem, I think, is that anything that is rooted in Washington, in the fetid swamp that is Washington, winds up getting corrupted like this. And the FBI is no exception. When you think about the people that sign up to pursue justice for the FBI, I don't think it's left-wing loons that are drawn to it. But when you have the top brass and they're stationed here in Washington, they become part of the Leviathan and they corrupt every aspect of what they're doing. And we've seen it so clear. And we have a moral obligation. We have a legal obligation. We have all this obligation to wrench it away from these people and clean house, as you point out, and or get rid of the whole thing and start over again. But it's really, really bad. This is destroying our political process, and this is more intolerable than the mountains of debt that we're piling up on our children. This is on that level.
Right. Gregg Jarrett, first of all, thanks for coming. I know, late call, you're great. Gregg, I'm going to wave a magic wand and appoint you Attorney General. Okay? Attorney General Gregg Jarrett. By the way, I think you'd make a good one. You would be in charge of changing the FBI. What would you do? How would you go about it? What do you think?
Well, I would dismantle the hierarchy and rebuild it. Isn't it ironic that the old Hoover building itself is crumbling, just as the institution itself is crumbling from pervasive corruption? And we heard it today. These witnesses were recounting firsthand, Larry, how FBI investigations are biased. They're tainted by politics. They cited examples. And when these brave agents complained and they resisted when they tried to do their jobs properly and objectively, there's a concept, based on evidence and not politics, they were maligned, they were frozen out, they were punished, security clearances yanked, their names sullied. I mean, this is, and I'm a lawyer, this is classic retaliation and retribution. It's prohibited by federal statute. And, these witnesses today, Larry, that's the tip of the iceberg. It's a sample of what Chairman Jim Jordan described as over 24 whistleblowers who have come forward with evidence of FBI corruption. And I must say they came across, as I watched, as, conscientious public servants. They have a great record. They had the courage to step forward to expose the rot at the FBI. Rot, if left to fester, will bring down a building. And here, it's what was built up for decades.
But Gregg,
what was once the esteemed law enforcement agency in America, the FBI.
Right. And that's an important point, because I want it to be the esteemed law enforcement agency. That's what we want. But these people, just to finish, Charlie, I want to come back to you in a second, but Gregg, just to add your thought. Look, these whistleblowers are protected by law, but they are not being protected by law inside the FBI. So this sets up all kinds of problems. There is no justice going on here. The FBI, which is the law agency, is breaking the law in the way they treat these whistleblowers, okay? That's the way I see it. Now, you're the attorney. You tell me.
Well, I agree with you 100%. Look, there was great debate today between Jordan and Democrats saying, oh, they're not whistleblowers because they haven't crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's and gone fully through the process and been, anointed officially as whistleblowers. Well, in common language, they certainly are whistleblowers, and regardless of whether they have been, quote unquote, approved, they're still entitled to protection against retribution, retaliation, and punishment. So this is going to be litigated.
It should be litigated. Charlie Hurt, I'm going to give you the last word because, Charlie, Joe Biden and Merrick Garland are not going to do the kind of house cleaning that is necessary to restore the FBI as an impartial enforcer of the rule of law in America. They won't do it, which, we're going to need, and I'm going to be partisan here, we're going to need a strong Republican in the White House to do that job, okay? My concern, Charlie, is because the FBI will continue to be the same old FBI in the next 17 months, can we get a strong Republican in the White House? Do you follow my logic? I want them to stay the hell out of this election, but it doesn't look like they will based on their track record.
Well, in the first place, if you had as much to hide as Joe Biden does, would you want an honest FBI out there? I certainly wouldn't. So, no, I don't think that Joe Biden or Merrick Garland are going to do anything to restore the integrity of the FBI. And I think you're exactly right. And that the only hope is to get someone, a strong Republican president in the White House who will take this seriously and do something about it. And that's where we as American citizens have to step up to the plate and do our job now. People are complaining that more people weren't prosecuted with the Durham report and all that. I get it, but that's behind us at this point. That is the legal proceeding, and that's behind us. Now we are faced with the political situation, and the political situation is we have to take all of this seriously, hold the political actors accountable who have allowed this to happen, and the members, Democrats in Congress who have encouraged this to happen. And I would argue that the best chance for doing that is to get behind Donald Trump and force and ensure that Donald Trump gets back in the White House, because I can't think of any other Republican out there who knows more about what these people are capable of doing and will go after them and clean this and clean house the way it has to be cleaned.
All right. I hear you. Something's got to change. Anyway, Charlie Hurt, thank you, sir. Attorney General Jarrett, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You guys are terrific.